Did you know at this very moment someone is on Amazon and Etsy actively looking for a quality coloring and activity book to add to their shopping cart? The only question is, will it be yours? Since you're listening to this podcast, hence the name of the show, it's pretty safe to assume that you have a keen interest in creating and selling your first or next coloring book. And it's for that reason I want to assure you you're in the right place. And I'd like to help you make it a reality by inviting you to check out the Coloring Book Creator Mentor Program, the first of its kind complete A to Z course that features live weekly coaching, resources, templates, and an extremely supportive online community, all designed to assure that you create a standout in-demand coloring book that you'll actually enjoy creating, promoting, and selling. Imagine the feeling of knowing somewhere in the world someone is adding your beautiful new book to their shopping cart, investing in a piece of your creativity. Enrollment is open and you can get started by going to coloringbookcreatorcourse.com. That's coloringbookcreatorcourse.com. What's been your take on the last 9 months and all of
Mhm. That's funny you even asked that question because as I was sitting down and thinking about processes in what I'm trying to move forward with and trying to also plan out as much as I can kind of the rollout of all of these products. I was thinking about, wow, it's been 9 to 10 months since July of last year. And I am shocked at where I am at this point because I have some artistic ability drawing wise, but I by no means would I consider myself an artist per se. But I had all these things going in my head going, if I could just do that, if I could just draw, if I could just come up with an image, if I could just do this, I could do this, and this. And I think that's what attracted me to the program initially was, okay, well, if he can show me how to do a coloring book in 30 days and I can do it with someone else's images, then maybe I can apply this to the other things I have been mulling around for a while.
Welcome to this special edition of the Coloring Book Creator Podcast. Over the next 10 episodes, I'm going to walk you through a 10-step roadmap that I've created that I'm calling Validate Your First or Next Coloring Book Idea Before You Make It. Now, I want to share with you why I created this series. After working with over a dozen coloring book creators over the past year, supporting them to create, publish, and sell their first books in both my Coloring Book Creator Society membership group and my Publish and Promote Your Coloring Book in 30 Days course, I realized that there is a consistent process to go from idea to finished book. And this is the basis for this series of the podcast. So what can you expect? For the next 10 episodes, I'll drop what I'm calling a capsule episode designed to be consumed in less than 10 minutes or less, with each building on the topic before. And accompanying the series is a printable PDF roadmap that you can download and print if you wish, or just view it on your computer or tablet. The 10-step roadmap is a part of a larger PDF, and this podcast series is what I'm calling the Complete Coloring Book Idea Prep Kit. Now, this is available now, but before you listen to this episode, I encourage you to press the pause button and head over to mycoloringbookidea.com, enter your name and email address to get immediate access to the prep kit. Now, this is what's included in the prep kit. You are going to get a 9-page workbook, including the 10-step roadmap for which this podcast series is based. You're going to get a handy resource guide that myself and my students and Coloring Book Society members of our favorite creator tools. You're going to get access to a special online quiz/questionnaire designed to help you unearth your own sellable coloring book idea that's unique to you and your interest and your passions. Plus, you'll get an invitation to join me for my next Validate Your First or Next Coloring Book Idea with ChatGPT, which is an online resource using the technology of AI. All righty, let's move right into it. This again is a 10-step outline. Today, I'm going to talk about step 1. Get clear on what makes a coloring book idea more sellable than others. Questions to ask yourself. What topics interest you? Gardening, horticulture, flowers, tea, baking, dogs, cats, or other livestock animals, horses, etc. Christmas or other holidays, Bible verses, adult humor, patterns and shapes, think mandalas, fairy tales, meditation, yoga, travel destinations. We can even drill down even further. Think things like locations, air travel, cruises. The bottom line is the more specific you can be, the better. Books that sell really well have a clear and distinct point of view, a clear subject and style, and a theme that's created for a specific audience. Now, as you go through this series, I'll take you through a process to not only find sellable book ideas, but how to use a simple free online tool to determine how well a current published title is currently selling. I'll provide a link to that in the show notes of this episode that will include a link to a special video tutorial that'll walk you through how to access this free tool and how to use it. Now, your homework assignment for today is to download the prep guide. Again, go to mycoloringbookidea.com, enter your name and email address, and you'll get immediate access to the prep guide that will accompany this series, including the 10-step process guide. All righty? Then once you download that, I want you to go back through this episode again and listen. And I want you to focus on specifically the section in the guide that is marked Connection Part 1, Getting to Know Yourself. What's your why? Inside of that, I'm going to ask you 3 questions. Why do you want to publish a coloring book? In other words, what's your story? I'm also asking you what's stopped you from publishing your coloring book. And the third, and this one being the most important, in what ways will your book be a contribution to help make the world a better place? So again, connect to your passion, connect to your interest. Think about what is it about you, your story, that makes you and your perspective unique? And what is it that will help you create a book that will connect with others and create a better experience for other people? I'll share really briefly mine. My first coloring book is called Never Too Late to Make It Happen. That book was actually the result of something I was going through personally, going through my own getting older. Also, it was inspired by the result of me losing my father several months prior. For myself, I was going through a process where I was honestly a little concerned about goals I hadn't accomplished, dreams I hadn't fulfilled, things I wanted to pursue in my life, and just, quite frankly, never really made it a priority or got around to it. I was questioning my ability to be able to still fulfill some of my dreams. But I was also inspired by motivational quotes. And I actually decided to make my first book, Never Too Late to Make It Happen, based on a collection of those motivational quotes that encouraged me and kept me inspired. And so I knew that after I published my book, that there were others like myself who also may have had feelings around maybe feeling like perhaps it's too late for me. Maybe I'm not going to be able to go back to school and get that degree or take that long trip I've always wanted to take or move to that other country or whatever the case may be. I wanted to remind them that it wasn't too late for them. So in my own conversations, as I was sort of quote unquote talking about the book, I was talking about my mission, my story, my why. That in and of itself has helped me to create connection with people who potentially may want to buy my book. My contribution to the world would be to remind people, no matter what the age, that it wasn't too late for them and that they could use this inspirational quote book to color and meditate on their own dreams and processes and journey and stay inspired to move forward. So that's just a quick example of what I say about why do I want to publish a book and what ways would making my book contribute to making the world a better place. I wanted to share that with you to sort of inspire what you will write inside of your planner book, your prep guide, I'm sorry. So with that said, I'm going to wrap up this episode here. Again, I want to make these really short and sweet so that you can go through them. And step number 2, we're going to go into uncovering your unique point of view and your point of differentiation so that your book stands out from the crowd. But for now, listen to this episode again. Go over to mycoloringbookidea.com, download the Coloring Book Idea Prep Kit, go through those 3 questions, fill those out, and then I'll see you on the next session, step number 2, where we're going to start drilling down into uncovering your unique point of view and point of differentiation for your book so that it stands out. See you on the next episode. At the beginning of this podcast episode, you heard from coloring book creator alum Michelle Wolf. Michelle Wolf has gone on to produce well over 12 books. She is now working on a line of note cards and a variety of other business ventures, all based on her newfound passion for creativity and producing and publishing quality products. Now, I want you to listen to the remainder of that introduction that you heard at the start of the podcast, and hopefully it inspires you to think about what's possible for you if you decide to join us in the Coloring Book Creator Mentor Program.
And I realized at that point that there was a download seeded into my brain that started growing. And it was like, okay, Michelle, you finally figured out the avenue to get you what I want you to do. I feel like I'm in a place where I can do the most good with what I want to move forward with, if that makes sense. And trying to still incorporate coloring books into that mix, whether it's a coloring book, whether it's a journal coloring book mix, whether it's a planner with the dog idea and coloring, so it may not be the traditional one that we started out with, but I feel like I definitely have the capabilities and the wherewithal now to move forward with those different ideas.